Alright, this is Cold War Day 2, and this is now the Soviet response and also Berlin. Remember the last video we learned that the Soviet Union is intent on expanding. We had the policy of containment and the Marshall Plan, and everything seems to be going against the Soviet Union. So remember that chess move, right? What is Stalin going to do to stop this? Now, I love this cartoon. I think it's funny. Number one, Stalin was incredibly short, so he's never going to get up that high. But as you can see, the European recovery rim, we have it there, Mediterranean rim, you could even call it, right? Yeah. The Marshall Plan, and the goal was to help it. And the question was, can Stalin stop it? Stalin did try. He had his Secretary of State, essentially, a man named Molotov, come up with the Molotov Plan, which was basically the reverse of the Marshall Plan. We would give you money for supporting communism, just don't follow the capitalism. Problem is there's not enough funds in the Soviet Union to keep this going, and so the Marshall Plan has more money in the long run. That's why the Marshall Plan is successful. Molotov is not. If you don't have enough money to fit your bills, you can't succeed, and that goes for anything, guys, okay? Then we have what's considered the Berlin crisis, okay? And there's many factors in the Berlin crisis. First off, in 1947, basically every country is experiencing a downturn, including the United States. There's one country that's surviving, and it's kind of odd, isn't it? 1947, 1946, more or less. And that's West Germany. Now, the West Germany, that'd be the democratic side, our side. They are thriving. They are making lots of money. Why? Volkswagen Beetle. I know, right? But the Volkswagen Beetle was actually developed by Adolf Hitler and some Nazis, etc. And so they're going to mass produce them, and they're cheap, affordable cars. And if you've ever known someone that had a Beetle, especially in the 60s, they were big, popular cars here, you can run these things into the ground, and they'll keep running. It's insane how many miles you can put on these cars. Okay? So, they're thriving because of mass production of these and other automobiles that they're making, Mercedes-Benz, etc. But that's how it's working. The man in charge of West German Miracle, his name is Konrad Adenauer, and there you can see the West German flag, and you can see the roots of growth coming as they've been split. The tree's been split east and west, and he's beginning to make things grow. Now, if you're a German, and the West Germany is kind of sucking, or East Germany is kind of sucking, sorry, and West Germany's had its miracle, you want to go to West Germany. Makes sense, right? And it really started in Berlin. People would go from East Berlin to West Berlin with the intention of going into West Germany. Okay, once you got citizenship there, you can move. This began to anger Stalin and the Soviets because it made them look foolish. So we have the two sides of Germany, okay? Here we have East and West. East is the red, West is kind of the blue and purple, okay? Now Berlin is over in that red sector, so again, you can't just cross over there. They would kind of go into West Berlin and get their citizenship, and then move into West Germany and then get a nice paying job. Now, this is looking so bad that East Germany is about to fold really early on. And how can Stalin do this? He'd have to admit communism is a farce. It's a fake movement. So, we move into the next aspect of the Berlin crisis. Stalin will blockade Berlin. Now, all these shipments coming in to Berlin are being stopped, and he's basically going to try to starve the West Berliners to see that democracy is unsuccessful. So he blocks the trains, he blocks all these things, and you can see the bear hugging Berlin. Now, what's our answer to a blockade? Well, we could try to go through the blockade, but that would start a world war because they've basically announced this. So we go to the drawing board, and we came back with something ingenious, if you will. I'm going to fly over the blockade. So we had these planes. They made their runs, and they would drop supplies down to West Berliners, and it helped them survive. Now, along the same line, there's the story of Gil Halvorsen, and Gil Halvorsen took the nickname of Uncle Wiggly Wings or the Candy Bomber. One day, there's a story as it goes that he saw some children at a fence, and he gave them a stick of gum. That's all he had. And they divided this in like 4 pieces, and some of them just smelt the wrapper, and he saw how their eyes lit up and how how this tiny, insignificant piece of candy changed people's lives. So the U.S. Air Force actually had a candy ration, and so what he did is he would tie little packages around it, and when he flew over, he would drop this to these children, and they would know him because he would wiggle his wings as he was approaching. And this kind of really set the stage and helped change the mentality of a lot of West Germans about these things and keep these things alive. So, within a matter of months or whatever, the blockade is lifted, and basically everything is now settled in Berlin. There's still a lot of tension, still a lot of things going on, and in 1961, construction has begun on what would become known as the Berlin Wall. Why did this even occur? There was almost a start of a nuclear holocaust. Okay, in Berlin, they almost started a nuclear war, and so to prevent this, the Soviets said, no, build a wall. Okay, maybe an idea, Donald Trump, about why walls are bad. So build this wall up, and what happens? Lo and behold, there's people trying to get over this wall, trying to dig under the wall. They built this, massive death strip, and to the point to where when we look at this in class, I'm going to have you try to escape. Right? Escape rooms are the new trend here. I love escape rooms; they're great fun. But you're going to try to escape Berlin Wall and all of its death traps that were designed to keep you from doing so. And so it could be fun. Can you get out? You don't have an hour. Escape rooms, you have an hour. This one, you have a little bit less than that, okay? Now, the Berlin Wall is going to stand from 1961 until 1989, about 28 years. It's kind of crazy. Most of y'all in my class haven't even lived 28 years. Imagine half your city walled off and you can never get over there. It would pose a definite big problem, okay? So that is day 2 about Berlin, the Berlin crisis, the Berlin blockade, the Berlin airlift, the wall, all these crazy things, okay? As we're moving now into day 3, we're now going to pick up friends and get them involved in this fight, all right?